How can you best prepare to defend your master's thesis? Stick around and learn the key tips to success today on this episode of Navigating Academia. What's up, everybody? My name is Dr. Phoenix Singh, and I want to warmly welcome you to this episode of Navigating Academia, your leading source for guidance on how to advance your career in academia. Thrilled to have you here today, and as always, I appreciate the love, so please do take the time to like and share this video with your friends, with your colleagues, and with your students. Subscribe to our channel, hit that bell so you get notifications every time we post new content, and be sure to subscribe to these social media accounts. I want to congratulate you on finishing up your master's. It's a big deal and a crucial stepping stone in your professional career. Now, I know it can be a little bit nerve-wracking preparing to be able to actually defend your master's thesis. I want to make sure that hopefully I can give you some guidelines that it's going to make the preparation process a lot easier. So specifically what I want to do is to make 7 points that hopefully are going to make your journey a little bit easier. And these 7 points include a technique that's kind of tried and true. My students have used it. I've used it twice for both of my doctorates. I found that it really helps people be immensely well prepared, okay? So that's what I'd like to go through with you right now. The first thing that I want to say is that you really need to know your master's thesis cover to cover, right? Know it forwards and backwards, know where everything is in there, every chapter. If somebody asks about a paragraph, you should know where that is. Somebody says, well, the limitations of such and such, you should know exactly where that is. And you should know what you've said in the thesis. Now, in some cases, obviously, maybe, you've been doing the master's part-time, or, you've done all the coursework and the thesis you finish a while later. I completely understand, but make sure that you've read it enough times before the actual defense so that it's kind of primed in your head so you can jump to whatever section that's necessary. And I don't just want you to know where things are, I want you to really embrace the idea that the master's thesis should be like a story, okay? And it should be a really cohesive story that pulls each of the individual chapters together, and I want you to be able to explain exactly what you did, why you did it, and why you didn't do other things that could have been done. For example, let's say that you're in medicine and you ran some sort of statistical analysis. I would expect you to know exactly why that statistical analysis was appropriate, why other ones were not appropriate, and why maybe there were several that were, but you chose that one to be the best option. I need you to know that information. I need you to be able to explain exactly what that statistical methodology is. Really, the goal of the master's defense process is to be able to make sure that you are making large strides forward in terms of understanding not only the field, but the tools of the trade, which in a lot of areas of science is statistics, right? More than anything, though, make sure that the chapters flow into one another. Think about it like pouring water downstairs. I want it to be fluid, but I want it to be stepwise, if that makes sense. And when you describe the process of doing the thesis and the chapters therein, I want it to come across like that as well, okay? So now let's move on to the specific 6-step technique that I want you guys to master. Okay, so here's the technique. First thing I want you to do is to compile a comprehensive list of possible questions you could get asked as part of this thesis. Trust me, this can take a long time, but I want you to take as long as necessary, come up with your own list, come up with lists that maybe, your friends or your partner or, I suppose you could hire somebody to do it, even though I've never heard of that. But, you can ask people who've already been through the process of defending their master's thesis or doctoral dissertation, what questions have they been asked? And obviously there are a lot of online forums, where people will post the things that they were asked. There's even surveys that have been published in the peer-reviewed literature of the most common types of questions that are asked during defenses. So I definitely recommend taking a look at that and then just come up with that comprehensive list of questions. Take each one of those different questions and put one on a slide at a time. Let's say you have 100 questions, you're gonna have 100 slides, one question for each of them, make that font big enough so you can read it. That's it. voice record yourself. You can usually do this through the computer. If it's a desktop that has some sort of a webcam, it'll do it. If it's a laptop, these days every laptop has like a camera and a microphone built in, right? So you should be able to just say it to the computer. But literally just read each of those aloud. Do it one at a time and attach that audio file to the slide where it's, the same text on the slide is what you're reading, and then make it so that it automatically plays when that slide comes up. The next one is that I want you to go onto Google and type in something along the lines of PowerPoint macro slide randomization, okay? A lot of people don't know that you can do this in PowerPoint, but you can download these little macros, and then there's in PowerPoint itself, in one of the menus, it'll say macros, you can upload it, okay? And when you do that, right, you can select to run that macro, and it's gonna run this code that automatically randomizes the slides. And in this way, you're going to have a different series of those 100 slides every time you want to practice, which is awesome, okay? And this is something like nobody does and nobody knows about, so do that. I want you to basically be practicing this daily. And here's the key. I don't want you to just kind of go through and kind of say whatever you want in every slide. I want you to try to keep it to 3 sentences or even less. It's a lot better for your examiner to ask you questions after you've gotten through those 3 sentences and say, can you say more on that? Than it is to just keep running your mouth, and then they get really annoyed and they're just like, when will this person stop? The key thing here though, and here's a little tip, is that you can make it so that every slide only lasts a specific period of time. My recommendation is 45 seconds, right? So what I would do is open PowerPoint, run the macro, hit PowerPoint like presentation mode, and then it'll read, right, the question, and then it'll wait 45 seconds, and then it'll go to the next one, read it, wait 45 seconds. So you can like sit in the bathtub if you wanted to. You can lay in bed under the covers, have the things asked you can practice it. Okay? And this is just fantastic. This to me is like the ultimate way to do this stuff. The final step is to practice in front of people, and preferably in the same location where you're actually going to have the defense. That's really what I want you to do, all right? Don't only practice in the quiet of your room. Don't only practice in a really crowded cafeteria. As much as possible, try to get that state-dependent memory where you're in the location where you're actually going to be presenting. And don't just have your friends there though. See if you can invite some other people, maybe folks in other cohorts in your department or friends of friends who don't know anything about this. Because usually at least one of the people in your examination team, one of your examiners, will not be somebody that you've ever met before usually. And if that's the case, you want to be able to mimic that experience when you are practicing. So that's the technique that I recommend, which is tried and true. All right, guys, I hope that helped you out. Be sure to share this video with your friends, with your colleagues, with your students, anybody who is right now or is going to be preparing to defend their master's thesis. Again, please like and share this video. Also, subscribe to our channel. Comment below because it helps us out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. Even if you just say something like, good job, or I enjoyed this video, it helps us out a lot. So please do us a favor. And in addition to that, please do check out some of our other videos on the channel. All right, everybody, I'm signing off for the day. Don't forget to get out there, take chances.